How much do you know about cryptocurrency? If you're like me, not a lot. I've done a bit of research, still slightly bewildered about it all. But this interest wasn't prompted by a desire to invest in crypto, but because incoming US President Donald Trump promised to make the states the crypto capital of the planet. And that led to a surge in the price of Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency. And that went up to about $173 Australian, more than that in US terms. Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers said recently that cryptocurrency could become a key feature of an improved financial system, but with safeguards. So, do we need to know more about what cryptocurrency actually is? Well, I turned to Phil McGann from Claritude Financial Planning to shed some light on this emergence in currency, because when I was doing that research, I found lots of words like algorithms, blockchain, mining, codes, transactions. So I asked Phil to give me a simple explanation of what a cryptocurrency is.
Basically, cryptocurrency, it's a digital currency, and it's been created using blockchain, which is a new form of technology, but it's been around for a fair while now, probably about 12 or 14 years. And effectively what it is, it's peer-to-peer currencies. So instead of having a third party, a central government or a central bank controlling a currency, printing currency, that sort of thing, this is peer-to-peer, so it's between you and me. And it's basically created using the technology, the blockchain, and there's a value assigned to it depending on the supply and demand of it. That's how it basically works. You can get bogged down in all those things. That's probably not a great way to go forward, but it's more a case of it's a real thing, it's out there, a lot of people are interested in it, a lot of people are using it, and it's been around a bit longer than people think. Bitcoin, the oldest cryptocurrency, has been around since 2008-9, so it's been a fair while.
It's not a physical thing though, is it?
No, it's all digital, so it's all in the cloud, so to speak. So it's nothing physical about it. There's no currency or there's no paper money or coins or anything like that. It's just digital entries in a ledger that is basically transferred between people with that no third party involved. There's no central bank. Like in the Australian context, there's no reserve bank creating funds or instructing the mint to print money. There's none of that. It's all digital.
Who uses it?
A lot of people use it. Now, the idea behind cryptocurrency when it first came out was it would replace normal currency and we'd use it for normal transactions. But it really hasn't evolved that way. What's really happened is it's become more of a store of wealth. And a lot of people are using it as a speculation tool, a financial asset. And there is a lot of people who use it for, and they're attracted to the anonymity of it. So basically, no one knows who you are when you use the currency. There's no tracking of it that way. And so there's a lot of organised crime that use cryptocurrency as well. So a lot of the listeners out there might say, I might be involved with this. It sounds good. You hear about crypto a lot. I might buy a few of those. But a big part of it is the underbelly of it. There's a lot of organised crime involved using it for things that you really wouldn't want to be involved in. Now, that's just part of it, but it has become more and more mainstream as the years have gone on, and there's a lot more people using, a lot of companies using it, mostly for store of wealth, to actually, the best analogy I can give is similar to gold in a way. Gold, you can't use gold to actually go do your weekly shop at Coles, but you can't with Bitcoin either. But you can hold gold, physical gold, or in a digital format to actually, as a store of wealth, to actually hedge against inflation as just another financial asset. That's really the way cryptocurrencies have evolved. There's no utility in them, and you can't use them to go down to Woolworths to buy your shopping, but you can actually have them digitally in a digital wallet, and there's a value to them because other people want to buy those assets off you.
Is it legal tender anywhere?
It is in, I think one of the Central American countries has actually converted their currency. I think it's Guatemala or Nicaragua, I'm not sure which, but they've changed their currency and said it is legal tender to use Bitcoin now. Now, that's a small country in a faraway place, so it's not in the same way that the Australian dollar is acceptable everywhere. And that's a utility I'm getting at, that it's really a case of what do you want from the currency and what do you use it for? If you're using it as a financial instrument like gold to have as a rainy day asset that's improving in value, that's one thing. But if you're using it to go and put petrol in the car, well, you can't do it with cryptocurrency because the service station won't accept it. So it's not legal in that sense, but it's not illegal to hold as well. You can still,
accumulate
hold
it.
the asset. Yeah, you can accumulate it.
Is it banned anywhere? Can you ban it?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing as well, because different regulations around the world. Some countries, interesting country like China, has a really strict crypto rules in place in that country about trading of it and holding it and things like that. But a lot of the Western countries, the US, the European Union, Australia, New Zealand, you can basically buy and sell. It's available to do so on lots of exchanges these days, legitimate exchanges that you don't actually have to deal with other marketplaces that previous times were not as reputable, so to speak, as you would find in just normal areas where you can trade financial instruments, which is available to do so these days.
Incoming US President Donald Trump has promised to make the states the crypto capital of the planet, and that led to a surge in the price of Bitcoin, which, as you said, is one of the older forms of cryptocurrency, to $173,000. How stable is a cryptocurrency, or is it prone to wild fluctuations?
It's big. It didn't quite get. I mean, in US dollars terms, earlier this month it got to 108,000 US dollars. It's dropped down now in the space of a couple of weeks after the euphoria of Trump winning and all of his backers going, "Wow, this is fantastic. We'll jump into crypto." It's dropped down as of today. It's about 92,000 US. So
Right.
in Australian dollar terms, it's a lot more, but. Basically, it's a very volatile asset class. And you can see that if you look at a graph of Bitcoin as the major cryptocurrency out there. And just as a sideline, there are literally thousands of cryptocurrencies. So we've all heard of Bitcoin, and it's very much in the media and in popular culture and whatnot. A couple of other large ones, Ethereum and things like that, they're large coins. But there's thousands of other ones. Because it's unregulated, anyone, you and I could set one up if we wanted to, call it what we like. As long as there's someone out there who'd be interested in buying an office, you can produce it that way. So that's the regulation side of things, and that leads to a lot of speculation. In Trump's case, he's sort of hit the flavour of the month, so to speak. He loves the idea of the crypto. A few years ago, he didn't like it at all.
No.
He thought it was very much underhanded and what's going on and unregulated. Now he's sort of came back the other way. He's one of his top supporters is Elon Musk, who's a very the wealthiest man in the world and a big crypto supporter. And so he's basically come around the other side saying, yeah, look, this is something that the US should control and should work through, and we should be a dominant player in the marketplace. He's talking about actually having part of the US government's reserves, financial reserves, having a crypto reserve, much as they have a gold reserve, which
or petroleum.
Used to, yeah, those sorts of things. So it's an asset. He sees it as a financial asset. We should be in control of it. We should get there. But the issue, again, comes back to regulation versus innovation. The whole point of cryptos was to get away from central governments and central banks controlling the currency and debasing the currency. That's a big thing that all the crypto supporters are in favour of. They say, we don't want government regulation. But then you get someone like Trump who comes in and says, we welcome you into the mainstream, but we're going to regulate it, but we'll be a bit more friendlier than it used to be. That sort of idea. That's what he seems to be saying. And the speculation in the actual coin value, Bitcoin value, has been very volatile over the last couple of days and over the last couple of weeks since he's been elected, and he'll come into power in obviously the 20th of January.
This is ABC Local Radio. My name's Kathy Schnetzling, and I'm speaking to Phil McGann from Claritude Financial Planning. Getting back to that whole issue of regulation, Donald Trump is embracing the idea of crypto, which bring it into the mainstream, it seems to me that it will become regulated. And even here in Australia, Treasurer Jim Chalmers has said there's a role for cryptocurrency. But as long as there are guardrails, which I think is another word for regulation or licensing, that's a bit like the first rule of Fight Club is not to talk about Fight Club. So you've got something that's built on not having regulation, but hey, come in as long as you'll let us regulate you.
Yeah, look, and I think, and I was looking back at some of the quotes here from Jim Chalmers a couple of days ago. He's quoting saying, I think crypto has a role to play as part of modernising and innovating the financial system. When he says that, it sounds interesting. What's he trying to get at? He's trying to sort of look at the new shiny object in the economy. People are using it. Let's see if we can harness it and regulate it to do something better, and help us to modernise the way we transact. But then Michelle Bullock, who is the Reserve Bank governor, they asked her about it, and she said, I don't see a role for it, certainly in the Australian economy or the payment system at all. It's not a currency and it's not money. So that's the government controlled or the government appointed regulator of the financial system and the payment system at loggerheads with the treasurer.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to end up. One's trying to sort of do something, the other's saying, I don't really see the point of it. There's going to have to be some sort of development over time to see whether they can get to the same path with those guardrails either side, maybe. Not sure.
Phil, how would regular investors go about accumulating cryptocurrency? Do you just type something into your search engine or what?
Yeah, look, there are marketplaces out there. There's exchanges where you can actually buy and sell cryptocurrencies, and not just Bitcoin, but lots of other things. There are some exchange traded funds that actually allow you to get exposure to Bitcoin in particular, or the companies that own a lot of Bitcoin, and there are a couple of ETFs that are listed on the local stock exchange here in Australia. But look, it's a very new industry in that regard. It's been around a long while, but you just got to be very, very careful. And it's a very speculative asset class, I feel, and you can see that in the volatility that's happened over the last few weeks, but also over just in the existence of Bitcoin over the last 10 years or so. Now, have a look at a graph and see how it waxes and wanes. Before you jump in, you need to think of that, how volatile it can be, and it's very much a speculative instrument. This is not advice, it's just general information. We're just having a chat, but it's not something that you should put a lot of money into, so to speak.
Phil McGann, this has been a fascinating conversation and we could keep going, but we won't. Thank you for clearing up what I didn't know about cryptocurrency.
That's okay. No problems, Kathy. Lovely to speak with you.